Alright, hi guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Hales, or Haley if we haven't met. Today we're doing a 40-minute flow, kind of a power style flow, but it's kind of like a journey to splits if you're working on the splits, or if you just want kind of a powerful flow focused on your hamstrings, this is for you. As always, you will see in the description box below, there is a linked playlist. If you're doing this off of your computer or like a desktop, you can go ahead and open it as separate browsers, adjust the volume manually in Spotify and on YouTube till you have a good mix of the music as well as my voice. Or if you're doing this off of your phone or a TV, you can set up a separate device to play the music. Of course, you're more than welcome to do this without the music, or if you'd rather do yoga to your own music, I totally get that. We all have different tastes. I do have kind of like a fun playlist today, like it's kind of like not 90s R&B, but like a little bit like throwback R&B music for our splits, kind of fun on a Saturday. So feel free to use the playlist, or if not, that's totally cool. So you guys can go ahead and pull up the playlist now. All you're gonna need for your practice today is a mat or a soft spot to practice. So you're gonna go ahead and pull up that playlist for me. Make sure you're not on shuffle. And then we'll press play on that first song so our music is all timed together. So you're gonna press play on that first song in 3, in 2, in 1. All right, and now we'll settle into our class. So if you're new to my class, you won't know this. If you've been here before, you know the drill. We always both start and end our practice in a place of stillness or a place of rest. And this place that you come into might look different every time. So I just want you to start to settle into a shape that feels really easeful, really natural. Like you don't have to try hard at all to be there. So on your back, on your side, seated, child's pose. And then go ahead and close your eyes. And just take these first few moments just to be still. I think a lot of us probably can relate to this idea that we've been kind of moving a million miles a minute the past few weeks or months. But even though we're moving so fast, we're doing things all the time, I think for a lot of us we feel stuck, like we're not really getting anywhere or going any places. If that resonates with you, know that that's okay. Know that you don't have to keep spinning your wheels. If you feel stuck, like no matter how hard you try, you're not getting where you want to go. Sometimes that means you're meant to stay, to stop, to slow down, to land exactly where you are. So here in this moment, I know it's been a crazy year, no matter what your ambition, what is your best laid plan is, you're here. You're in this moment, you're in your body, you're on your mat. Can you let that be all that matters the next 40 minutes we have together? Just you, your breath, what you're feeling here in this moment. Let go of all of that anticipation, that worry, that doubt, even excitement, and just feel your way through each and every moment. Because that's the truth, right? That's what this year has shown us. None of us are really in control of what happens down the line, but we're always in control of how we react and how we show up in each and every moment. So that's your only goal, your only thought, your only intention as we move. From here, guys, let's start to breathe. So just wherever you are, take a nice big full inhale, let it expand up through those lungs. And then take a big full exhale, whatever you're holding on to, go ahead, let it go. We'll do it again. Take a nice big full inhale, really fill up all of those spaces with breath. And big exhale, whatever you don't need, go ahead, let it go. And from here, wherever you are, we're gonna make our way to laying on our backs. You have a couple breaths to get there, to land there. And as you arrive on your back, you're gonna go ahead, you're gonna hug those knees up in towards the chest. Give yourself a nice big squeeze. If you want to keep those eyes closed, absolutely, you can go ahead. Now from here, we're going to start off nice and gentle. You're just going to cross your left ankle over top of that right thigh. So you're coming into that kind of number 4, reclined pigeon space. And good. Now from here, it's cool if you're just warming up, if you want to just relax those hands by your sides. If you have the space in your body, maybe you hold on to the back of your right thigh, gently guiding both of those knees in towards your chest. So you feel that gentle opening and that connection of where your glute meets your hamstring. And beautiful, it's short and sweet, just 3 easy breaths here. Maybe gently hugging your knee in towards the chest. Maybe gently rocking side to side through the spine. Really nice, you guys. Take one more inhale and take one more exhale. From here, you're going to release your hand. Now bring that right sole of the foot flat down onto your mat. Keep your left ankle crossed. From here, we're going to take a couple of single leg glute bridges just to warm up the glute, warm up the hamstring. So nice and slow, nothing crazy. Take an inhale, press down through those palms. Press down through the sole of the foot, lift up through those hips. And good, with your exhale, you're going to slowly lower your low back, your hips to touch the mat. And good, take a nice strong inhale, lift both of those hips equally up towards the ceiling. Good, exhale, lower them down with control. Here we go, do it for 6. Take an inhale, press those hips. And good, exhale, lower. And beautiful, you're gonna do this 5 more times at the top, so you can press those hips up so much you feel maybe a little bit of release through those hip flexors. And then as you strengthen, especially through that right glute, that hamstring, we're always gonna make sure in this class that we get nice and warm before we get into any intense stretches. Really nice, you guys. 3 more after this. As you start to warm up, maybe you can find a little bit more lift of those hips. And maybe that left knee gets a little bit heavier down towards the floor. Just suggestions, just ideas. And good, 2 more. Take an inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. I hope you guys like this song that's coming up. Take an inhale, lift up through the hips. I want you to think about where you were the first time you heard that song. And take a lower those hips down. You're gonna slowly uncross those knees. Get those knees in towards the chest. Take a little reset. We're gonna stretch it the other way. So this time it's that right ankle that's going over top of your left knee. Again, just a warm up. You can let those hands rest by your sides, making it more passive. More of an active stretch. You're gonna hold onto the back of that left leg. Maybe guide that left knee in towards your chest and feeling that deep stretch in the root of that right glute. Good, then option to add that little rock, side to side, stillness, whatever feels good. Try not to force your body anywhere it doesn't want to go just yet. It's so good. Take 1 more inhale. 1 more exhale. Lower that left sole of the foot down. Keep your right ankle crossed. And good, we've got 8 of those little single leg hip bridges on our left, and then we're getting into our flow. So take an inhale, drive down through the heel, through your big toe. Squeeze the glutes, lift the hips up towards the ceiling. I know I get a nice big stretch in my right hip flexor there. And good, exhale, lower down. Beautiful, you've got 7. Take a little lift, squeeze your glutes. Exhale to lower down. Nice, you've got 6. So here's such a strong place to work, just getting a little bit of warm up, a little bit of work happening through one side of the body, while you find a stretch and opening of the other side. Nice, friends, you're here for 5. Squeeze, can you lift up 1 inch higher? Exhale, lower. Good, now I want you to think about that core once you feel comfortable in the legs. So try not to flare out the ribs. Keep pulling kind of the low abs in. So it's your core that's working just as much as that glute. So it's not so much of a back bend, think more of a hip lift. Here we go, we've got our final 3. Squeeze, lift. Exhale, lower. And finish it off for 2. Take that lift. And lower. 1 more, take an inhale to lift. Gorgeous, take an exhale to lower, slowly uncross those knees, hug them in towards your chest. Then when you're ready, you're gonna start to rock and roll up and down the length of the spine and gather up a little bit of momentum, then cross those ankles. You're gonna make your way to hands and knees, tabletop. When you get to hands and knees, tabletop, you've got a couple rounds of cat and cow just to release out, wake up through the spine. So take an inhale, drop your belly, lift your chest. And good, exhale, reverse it, press your center of the spine up towards the ceiling. And take 2 more easy rounds just like this. Nice, 1 more, really fill up, arch through the spine, lifting your chest. Exhale, hips come high. And good, now find your way to that neutral spine once you're done, halfway between your cat and your cow. And tuck those 10 toes under if they aren't already there. You're gonna start to reach those hips up high and back. You've got a downward facing dog. Now again, you're just warming up, you're just waking up into it. Maybe it took some convincing, having a word with yourself to even get on your mat today. So try not to force it and just let it be. You can bend those knees as much as you need. You can come down to a child's pose if that feels way better. You can sway the shoulders, shake the head side to side. And beautiful, take 1 more big inhale. And good, big exhale. From here, you're gonna take that gaze forward, shift it between the hands. You're gonna step, walk, or jump your feet forward to meet the hands. We're just gonna warm up a little bit more. And take an inhale here. Now press those hands in towards the shins. Lengthen the crown of your head forward. And good. Exhale, release. I told you guys it was a fun playlist today. Take an inhale, reach those arms all the way up overhead. Exhale, hinging from those hips, come right back through, forward fold. And good, take an inhale, hands in towards the shins, lengthen the crown of your head forward. So length through the hamstrings, length through your spine. Now exhale, fold, press down through the hands, walk your feet back. So find a high plank at top of a push-up. From here, you choose from the toes or from the knees. You bend those elbows with your exhale. And good, you take an inhale, you lift up through the chest, spread those collarbones apart. Exhale, you're gonna make your way back to downward facing dog, however you choose. We'll do this one more time. So take a nice big inhale here. Nice big exhale here. Now take that gaze forward between the hands, step walk or jump, feet to meet hands. And take an inhale, lengthen the crown of your head forward. And good, exhale, release. And take an inhale, sweep those arms all the way up overhead, reach it up. Exhale, hinge from those hips, forward fold. And take an inhale, hands in towards the shins, lengthen the crown of your head forward. And good, exhale, release. And press down through the palms. You're walking those feet back right to a high plank. Now from that high plank, no better or worse option, knees or toes, whatever works for you, works for me. You're gonna bend those elbows. You're gonna take that lower one smooth line. Beautiful, now inhale, press through the palms, really expand upwards through the chest. Yes, exhale, hips come high, down dog. And gorgeous, take a nice big inhale here. Nice big exhale. Let's start to get into our flow. You're gonna start to sweep that right leg straight back behind you. So I want you to think three-legged dog. Again, we're just warming up through those hamstrings. So if that leg isn't super straight, if it isn't super high, no worries. Drop that expectation, drop that doubt, and just feel your way through it. Take an inhale, can you lift up just maybe a tiny smidge higher? Exhale, can you maybe straighten that top knee just a little bit more? And good, take one more inhale here. One more exhale. And good, take an inhale. With your exhale, you start to squeeze that right knee in towards your nose. Hold that knee to the nose. You're gonna hold it here for 3. Hold it here for 2. Press that floor away for 1. Now swing that shin forward so you can land that right sole of the foot between your hands. Go ahead, soften that back knee down towards the floor. And good, so you're gonna meet in a low runner's lunge, so fingertips framing that front foot. Drop those hips, it'll stretch through the hip flexors, the inner thighs. Good, now exhale, you're gonna find a half split. You're gonna pull those hips back as you lengthen the crown of your head forward. And do it again, take a nice inhale, push those hips forward. Maybe a little bit lighter on those fingertips, little lift of your chest. Gorgeous, exhale, pull it back. As you lengthen that right leg, can you pull the big toes back towards you? We'll go 2 more, take an inhale. Good, take an exhale. And take one more, take an inhale, push the hips forward. And good, exhale, gently guide them back. This time we're holding here 3 breaths. So first, little juicy stretch into that right hamstring. You're not forcing it at all. I want you to prioritize here that length in your spine, so really lengthening that crown of the head forward. Yes, you've got it, you look amazing. Good, now pull those toes back towards you. So length through hamstring, length through the spine. And take big breaths here. So the deeper you breathe, the more you can calm that nervous system, the easier it's gonna be for that belly of the muscle to relax. So we're not just trying to be a broken record telling you to breathe deep. There's actually a tiny bit of science behind it. And good, take an inhale. And take an exhale. Now keep breath, you're pushing forward back through that low lunge. Walk those fingers to frame your front foot. Now pick up that back knee when you're ready. You're springing that left foot forward to meet the right, find a forward fold. Yes, take an inhale, lengthen the crown of your head forward. Exhale, release. And take an inhale, sweep those arms all the way up towards the sky. Feel that nice big stretch across your front line. Exhale, hinge from the hips, dive it forward, forward fold. And take an inhale, lengthen the crown of your head forward. Exhale, press down through those hands, walk your feet back. You know your options, knees or toes, bend the elbows, take your flow. Yes, inhale, lengthen, lift your chest. Exhale, hips come high, downward facing dog. And beautiful, couple breaths here. You can take that little sway side to side. Of course, child's pose, that sip of water is always there if you need it. All right, let's do it on the other side. You're gonna take an inhale, start to sweep that left leg when you're ready, up towards the ceiling. Now, most of us aren't completely symmetrical human beings. So if the side feels way better or way worse than the other side, don't judge yourself, that's normal. But just notice it, notice that discrepancy, that difference in your body, right? As you start to settle into this place, maybe you squeeze that left butt cheek a little bit more and create that active lift of that left leg. Take one more full cycle of breath here. Keep pressing that floor away strong. Good, fill up the lungs. Take one more inhale here. Exhale, you're gonna squeeze. Can you get that left knee to touch the left nose, contracting through the core? Hold for 3. Hold for 2. For 1, take that left foot forward between the hands. Gorgeous, now drop that back knee down. So you're in a low runner's lunge. From here at the inhale, I want you to think about lifting your chest like I had a string attached to your collarbone, lengthen it up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, pull those hips back, feel all of that beautiful length through that front leg. And good, inhale, push those hips forward, maybe a little bit lighter as you lift up on those fingertips. Exhale, pull back. And good, 2 more. Take an inhale, push those hips forward, lift the chest. And good, exhale, pull those hips back. Here we go, 1 more, make it the best one yet. Take an inhale, push those hips forward, lifting up and out of those fingers. Exhale, pull it back. This time you're finding a hold. So here again, we're being gentle, don't force it. And pull that left hip slightly back, right hip slightly forward. And then the more you pull the toes back towards you, the more that calf gets a little bit of a stretch too. So the secret with splits is we think it's all about that front leg hamstring, but it's actually the calf muscles, the muscles behind the knees. It's about that back hip flexor as well. There's a lot of muscles at play when we get into a full split. So if you feel like that's something you struggle with, it might be because you're only focusing on that one little hamstring when you have so many other muscles contributing in the body. Good, take 1 more cycle of inhale. 1 more cycle of exhale. Now start to gently guide those hips forward. Walk those fingertips framing your front foot. And pick up your back knee. Then you're springing that right foot forward to meet the left. And then take an inhale, lengthen the crown of your head forward. Nice, you guys. Exhale, release. And take an inhale, circle those arms all the way up overhead. Lengthen through the sides of your waist. Exhale, dive it forward, forward fold. Good, take an inhale, find that lengthening of the crown of your head forward. And good, exhale, release. From here, you're gonna press down through those palms. You're gonna start to bend a little bit through that right leg. So you're gonna start to lift that left heel up towards the ceiling. Now, as you lift that left heel up towards the ceiling, if you need to come up onto your fingertips for a little bit more lift, you do that. If at home you have yoga blocks or a water bottle and you want to bring those hands onto a block or a water bottle to give yourself more lift, absolutely take that option, bring the floor closer to you. Otherwise, your goal here is to start to lengthen both of those legs as much as you can. So standing splits is right hamstring length and then more left glute strength. It's that glute that's what's going to help you lift that left leg higher. And good, then think about lengthening the crown of your head more forward. So keep that spine long to start. I want you guys to comment at the end or send me a message on Instagram and let me know what your favorite throwback song was of this whole playlist. And let me know if you want more fun playlists or like send me your song requests because I love that too. Okay, back to the flow. We'll start to add on. Take an inhale, lengthen the crown of your head, your toes away from each other. Think long spine. Then exhale, keep the leg floating. You're gonna think knee to nose crunch. And just 3 more. Take an inhale, lengthen that heel back. Exhale, knee to nose crunch. And good, 2 more. Take an inhale, can you lift that heel a little bit higher? And good, squeeze, crunch. Nice, 1 more. Take an inhale, lift. Exhale, squeeze. This time as you lift, you're gonna stay there. All right, fun transition. We're going half moon pose. So you're gonna start to bring that left hand, maybe start with that left hand on your left hip. With the hand on the hip, you're gonna think about externally rotating your left hip. So you're gonna try and get your belly button to face the long edge of your mat. And then maybe, if it feels good, can you get that left shoulder to stack on top of the right, so your collarbones face that side of the room as well. And good, so here lengthening more through that inner thigh of the standing leg. and strengthening more through that outer line of your floating leg. And good, if you feel really strong, really brave, maybe you float those bottom fingers. Last few breaths. And if you fall out, no big deal, who cares? You're doing yoga to Neo in your living room. Come right back in, laugh at yourself, have fun with it. Life is weird, let's not take it so seriously, right? Take one more inhale. And good, take one more exhale. Slower than you want to, you're gonna float your way to warrior two. So you're gonna land, front heel, intersecting that line of that back hip. Good, now sink in. So here, if your feet are nice and far away from each other, you should feel a little bit of like almost stretching through those inner thighs as you strengthen through the outer thighs. Good, maybe close your eyes. We have 3 more breaths here. Think about grounding those hips, like your pelvis gets a little bit heavier down towards the floor. And then can you sink those shoulders away from those ears? Nice, you guys, 2 more breaths. And take one more big inhale. One more big exhale. And good, your next inhale, you're gently pulling that right leg to straight. So both of your legs come long, keep those arms releasing long. You're gonna start to shift those hips towards the back of the room. Then that right hand is gonna come down inside your right leg. Your left fingertips are gonna come straight up towards the ceiling. And good, so here, beautiful place to create a little bit of length through that inner line of your right thigh. And then for me, I actually feel a little stretch through my left kind of QL muscle or low back. The more you're lengthening that left hand up towards the ceiling, lengthening the crown of the head forward, the more you're gonna feel that stretch through that left side. Good, let's stay here 2 more breaths. And taking one more inhale. One more exhale, your next breath, you come back warrior two. And good, from your warrior two, you're gonna pull both legs to straight. Turn all 10 toes to face the same direction, so the long edge of your mat. Hands are gonna come onto your hips. Take a little inhale, lift through the chest. Then take an exhale, dive it forward, go wide-legged forward fold. And good, so wide-legged forward fold, you're gonna feel this a little bit more in your inner line of your hamstrings, a little bit less of those outer hamstrings. You can stay here, keeping those hands right underneath those shoulders. If you're a little bit more open, maybe you walk those hands behind the back of your calves, maybe trying to pull your chest almost through your knees, like the crown of the head can touch the floor. And good, now really fill up with the breath. Sometimes in these slower holds, these longer holds, we can start to zone out. Go to our to-do list, our grocery list, replay that work meeting in our head. But what happens if you just stay here? Stay in your breath, stay in your body. Maybe it's uncomfortable, maybe staying still feels a little bit weird. But challenge yourself just to do that. Take one more inhale. And good, take one more exhale. You're gonna come back onto those fingertips. Now start to crawl your way back to face forward, the top of your mat. So you're gonna come back to that runner's lunge, fingertips framing your front foot. Good, we'll just do one round here, similar to how we started. Take an inhale, drop the hips, lift your chest. Exhale, you're pulling your hips high. You've got an extended pyramid pose for 3 breaths. Now my friends, you feel super brave, super strong in your extended pyramid. Maybe right hand reaches back behind you. Maybe both hands reach back behind you as you lengthen the crown of the head forward. So eccentric strength and length through the hamstring. If you're like, Haley, there's no way I'm lifting my fingertips, that's totally cool. I'm right there with you today. 2 breaths. Nice, you guys. Take one more inhale. One more exhale. Now start to bend back forward through that right knee. Press down through those palms. Good, meeting that runner's lunge. You're gonna step that right foot back to meet your left, high plank. Start to bend those elbows, take your lower. And good, inhale, press through the palms, lift your chest. Exhale, hips come high, downward facing dog. Almost there, guys. All right, gaze is coming forward between those hands. Step, walk, or jump your feet forward to meet the hands. Then take an inhale, lengthen the crown of your head forward. Exhale, release. Inhale, arms come all the way up overhead. And good, exhale, dive it forward, forward fold. Again, inhaling, length through the hamstrings, length through your spine. Exhale, release, take those palms down. So start with those palms pressing down, as much of a bend as you need through that left leg. You're gonna start to sweep that right leg back behind you. Now for most of us, the higher we lift that right leg, the more we need to come up onto our fingertips. Totally cool. And then again, you have that option if you have a block, a water bottle, something to bring those hands onto. If you need a little bit more lift out of the floor, use that, take that. Good, so here again, a really healthy way to stretch out through the hamstrings, because you're having to engage a lot of muscles here just to hold your body up in this balance, and you're lengthening through that hamstring. So that's what we need in sport when we're running functionally. We need engagement of other muscles while we lengthen through the targeted muscle. Nice, friends. We're gonna start to add on that little flow. So you're gonna inhale, lift your chest. Think about lengthening your toes away from the crown of your head. Now exhale, you're gonna squeeze into a tiny little standing ball. And just 3 more like this. Take an inhale, lengthen. And good, exhale, squeeze. Nice, 2 more. So take an inhale to lengthen. Really nice, exhale, squeeze. Last time, best one yet. Take an inhale, really lengthen, toes away from your head. Exhale, squeeze it in. The last time you lengthen, you're gonna stay here. When you're ready, you're gonna start to bring that right hand onto your right hip. Now think about rolling your hips open so your pelvis, your chest is gonna face the side of the mat, the side of the room. Option here, just an option, you're always in choice. Maybe bring those right fingertips up towards the ceiling. Now squeeze that side booty, maybe reach that pinky toe a little bit higher to the ceiling. Just 3 breaths here in our half moon. And good, the stronger you feel, the lighter you get on those bottom fingers. Or maybe today's not the day to push your limits. There's so much power in knowing when to push and when to hold back. And take 1 more inhale here, guys. 1 more exhale. Slow with control. You're gonna bring that right foot all the way down towards that back edge of your mat. So you're gonna land in a warrior 2. So front heel, intersecting the middle of that back arch. Good, then once you're set up, you wanna have that same amount of openness of your chest, of your hips facing that long edge of the mat, just as much as in your half moon. When you feel like you've got that, you can go ahead, you can close the eyes, couple breaths here. With eyes opened or closed, you're gonna start to pull your left leg to straight. We're going triangle pose. You're gonna lengthen those left fingertips forward. Left hand is coming down, right fingertips are coming high. So you wanna think about long lines all through the body. Left inner thigh is pulling to straight, right outer thigh is straight, arms are long, and then can you lengthen more through the side of your body? So instead of dumping down towards that leg, think about lifting up towards the ceiling and then lengthening your spine. And take 1 more full inhale here, a little bit more length. Exhale, settle. Now you're gonna start to make your way back to that warrior 2, just for a breath. And then pulling your left leg to straight, turn all 10 toes to face forward. Hands to hips again, or maybe this time interlacing your hands behind your low back. Take an inhale, little baby back bend. And then exhale, you're gonna dive yourself forward. You're gonna come to that wide-legged forward fold. Good, now in that wide-legged forward fold, you can keep those hands interlaced, rinsing the shoulders out. If that doesn't feel like a good option in your neck or your shoulders, bring those fingertips down underneath the shoulders as you did on that first side. And just a couple breaths here. Good, now notice if maybe already on this side, compared to the first time you're in this shape, if maybe those hamstrings, those inner thighs, have a little bit more length for you. And good, take 1 more inhale, 1 more exhale. From that wide-legged forward fold position, you're gonna turn, you're gonna walk all 10 fingers, all 10 toes to face forward. Runner's lunge, just for a cycle here. So you're gonna take an inhale, you're gonna drop through those hips, lifting your chest. Good, exhale, pull those legs to straight, extended pyramid pose. So here you can stay with those fingertips grounded, keeping that front knee as bent as you need. My friends who feel stable, maybe you reach that left hand back behind you. If you really trust that eccentric length, that lengthening strength through the hamstrings, maybe both sets of fingertips reach forward or reach backwards. And 2 more breaths here. Good, take 1 more inhale. And take 1 more exhale. Now gently bring those hands down, framing your front foot. You're going to step your left foot back to meet the right. Either skipping the flow straight to downward facing dog, or you know what to do. You're bending your elbows with your exhale. Inhale, pressing through the palms, lift your chest. Exhale, hips come high, downward facing dog. All right, friends, let's start to test out that length through the hamstring. Take an inhale, sweep that right leg to sky. Exhale, step that right foot all the way forward between the hands. Go ahead, drop that back knee down and take your arms up overhead. And go, drop those shoulders down away from your ears. So just opening up through that back hip flexor before we get into our final split, our final hamstring stretch. Last big inhale here. Last big exhale. Next breath in, take those fingertips down, framing your front foot. Next exhale out, you're gonna start to pull that right leg to straight. Now from here, if you're really tight, if you just wanna stay, hang out here, take it easy, be my guest. If you wanna take it a little bit further, maybe you just start to wiggle, walk that right foot a little bit more forward. If you're like, I can test out my limit a little bit more, maybe you start to slide that left knee backwards. So we're here for about 5 breaths. Maybe you continuously wiggle around. You said you have to be still in yoga. Walking that heel away from you, that knee backwards. When you find that juicy spot, it shouldn't feel painful. There's a difference between a deep stretch and a painful stretch. And just hold here, 3 more breaths. And 2 more, inhale. Big exhale. 1 more big inhale. Big full exhale. Now I don't want you sprinting out of this pose, and take it nice and slow. So start to come up a little bit higher onto those fingertips. Start to tuck that back toe so you have a little bit of leverage to drag that back or that front heel in back towards you. Good. Now you can bring and adjust that left knee back underneath that left hip, so we're all back in that half split shape. Now press forward, plant through the palms. Lift your back knee, right foot steps to meet the left. Now this time just hold in down dog. Notice that maybe now that right leg feels a little bit longer than the left. If you feel like you have a little bit more space in the back of the legs. We're gonna finish it off on the left, you guys. Here we go. Take an inhale, sweep that left heel up towards the sky. Breathe into all that space. Exhale, step that left foot forward between the hands. And good, starting with our low lunge, bring that right knee down. Little hip flexor stretch on the right. Fingertips come up overhead. And good, little pull in of the low abs to intensify that stretch. Good, now slowly bring those fingertips down with the inhale, framing your left foot. Exhale, pull that left leg to straight, pull those left toes back towards you. Now, if you want to hang out here, totally cool, amazing. There's something so powerful about listening and honoring your body. If you do want to test out a little bit further, I'm also not super warm today, so my splits aren't full either. But let's just test it out together. So walk that left foot a little bit more forward. Maybe right knee a little bit further back. Good, and then continue to kind of wiggle your way like this. Secret for most of us getting into the splits is not graceful. It's a little kind of push and pull, a little reasoning with our body. Good, so lengthening that left leg forward, relaxing into that right hip flexor to pull that right knee back. And then once you've found your bendy space, you're gonna hold here 3 breaths. And gorgeous, hold here 2 breaths. It's short and sweet, not going to torture you too long. And take one more big inhale. Big exhale. If you want to stay a little bit longer, dive in a little deeper, absolutely you can. Otherwise, coming out of it gently, that's important. Start to pull that left heel back towards you. And then walk that right knee back underneath that right hip. So meeting in that half split. When you're ready, you're guiding those hips forward. Bring your hands down, framing your front foot. Pick up that back knee. You're going to go downward facing dog. Just hold. Now here, see if it's a little bit easier to get those heels down towards the floor, those hips up a little bit higher. If maybe just in 40 minutes, you create a little bit more space, a little bit more length in those hamstrings. From here with the exhale, you're going to take those knees down. Bring your hips to your heels. Let your forehead melt down. Come to a child's pose. And then just notice what comes up here. For a lot of us, we need to move our physical body, move our limbs around, move space, to move things around mentally and emotionally. So now here in this place of rest, if more things are coming up, if you're feeling more, if you feel like you can settle in more, that's totally okay, totally normal, and totally kind of an intended side effect of our flows. You stay in your child's pose as long as you'd like. Otherwise, if you're coming along, you're walking those hands back towards your knees. From here, you're going to simply shift your weight over onto your hips. You're going to lengthen those legs out long in front of you. We're going to take a nice simple forward fold here. So making sure you're sitting right onto the bony part of your butt. Sit up nice and tall. And then you're going to gently pour your chest forward over top of those thighs. You're absolutely not a better person if your face can go flat onto your shins. Close your eyes, no one can see you. It really doesn't matter what it looks like. Just as long as you're feeling a nice stretch all through the back of those legs with little to no tension in your low spine, that's the goal. Nice, you guys. Take just 3 more deep breaths here. That's it. And 2 more easy breaths. Maybe your head gets a little bit heavier forward towards your toes. And take 1 more inhale. Yeah, take 1 more exhale. Again, no rush. Slowly walk your way all the way up, tall spine. Gently bend through those knees. Make sure you're centered in the middle of your mat. And then nice and slow, nice and easily, you're going to roll your way all the way down onto your back. And give your spine a breath, a moment to neutralize. And now hug those knees up in towards the chest. Give yourself a squeeze. We have about 8 breaths left. And I'm going to leave these up to you. I used to do this in studio classes a lot if you ever practice with me in person. So options here, you can take those arms nice and wide. Maybe windshield those knees side to side, pausing on one side or the other. You can take an inversion, maybe legs up, headstand if that's in your practice. A back bend, happy baby. A hamstring stretch, a hip stretch. Just a few breaths on each side. So come into it on that first side, wherever you're holding, wherever you'd like to be. And just a few breaths there. Now, if your pose or shape of choice has 2 sides or 2 variations, you can make your way into that second variation, about 4 more breaths. Good. Finishing off those last few breaths in movement. Then as you're ready, you're going to make your way into that final place, that final space of rest, no rush. So traditionally, yes, it's on your back, but we don't have to be traditional around here. So you can be on your back, on your side, on your belly, child's pose, your tall, comfortable seat. And then once you're settled into your physical body, can you go ahead, can you close your eyes? And just allow yourself to soften. Allow yourself to settle. And allow yourself to breathe. And remember, if you feel like you're going a million miles a minute, if you're spinning your tires so fast, but you're stuck, you're not getting anywhere, know that a lot of us are in this together. But knowing sometimes when it feels like there's no way to move forward, that's like saying that, hey, you need to just stay for a minute and be and trust that this is exactly where you're meant to be. Maybe it means it's time to take a step back and time to rest. Maybe we need to slow the tires, stop the tires, and then gently start again. And take a final big breath together to honor where we are exactly here in this moment and find trust and peace that despite all the craziness out there, that maybe this actually is exactly where we're meant to be. With that, we'll take a nice big inhale all together through the nose. Big full exhale out through the mouth. Let it go. Thanks, you guys. My name is Haley. Again, thank you for watching. This is our 40-minute splits flow with a fun little kind of R&B playlist. Please feel free to send me a message on Instagram at Haley Perry if you have any requests, song requests, pose requests, yoga requests. I'd love to chat. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next video. Have an awesome rest of your day when you're watching this.